You're not under arrest.
Right.
You're not in custody. You're
Right.
free to leave. So just want to make sure we're clear on that. Again, I appreciate you coming in. And
Yes, sir.
I can imagine that you were probably getting tired of telling the story over and over and over again. But I would kind of like to start when you first met Michelle, because I know there's a lot of history there.
Right.
This is Mark Castellano, currently undergoing interrogation at the Houston Police Department regarding the missing case of Michelle Warner, his ex-girlfriend. Michelle and Mark first crossed paths in 2008 while working for the same medical firm. By 2009, Michelle, already a single mother, welcomed her second child with Mark just a few months after the birth of Caden. Their relationship took a turn in 2012 when Michelle secured a permanent position at a law firm. Opting for an unconventional arrangement, Michelle proposed that she and Caden move in with Mark. Seeking his involvement in raising their son, Mark agreed on September 24, formalizing the agreement. However, on the same day, Michelle failed to show up for work, prompting concern from her employer. Unanswered calls led to Michelle's ex-husband reaching out to her brother, Dave Sean. Mark disclosed to Dave that he and Michelle had an argument on the night of Saturday, September 22, resulting in her departure. Adding to the worry was Michelle's decision not to take her car and, more alarmingly, leaving their child behind. Caden, when questioned, had no information on Michelle's whereabouts. Michelle was officially reported missing, prompting a police welfare check on September 25. Despite her absence from the apartment, there was no evidence of harm. Detectives observed the computer hard drives were missing, and Mark had left a note on the bathroom mirror stating that he and Caden were gone. He claimed Michelle could keep the apartment, but he was taking the car due to financial concerns and mentioned a debt owed to his dad. The note also alluded to a potential drug issue, as Mark threatened to have Michelle drug tested. The note read, "Caden and I are gone. You can have the apartment all to yourself. I'm taking the car since you can't pay it, and I now owe my dad $3,000 because of you. Get it refinanced through your rich daddy and get my name off it. You're welcome to see Caden, but since you are on a drug-filled weekend, I guess you won't call. Since Grandma called and said you turned your phone off, I will get you drug tested this time." In the interrogation room, Mark begins by sharing his perspective on Michelle, expressing some negative opinions about her.
When she gets mad, she's violent. She'll hit you. She thinks she has the right to. The way she'll sit there and tell you the way she's raised, a man has to take up crap. She's a pretty girl and she gets everything she wants. She has a princess attitude.
Wow. Is she using any kind of drugs at that time that you're aware of? Has she introduced that into the relationship yet?
Adderall.
Which is treating her for what?
ADHD.
Okay.
And hydrocodone, 10/325.
Mm-hmm.
And she, getting to know me, she said, "Well, you were in a car accident. You could go get some for me." It gets pretty bad for a great while. The pill demand work. Starting to notice that I'm changing. She's having me do a lot of things. Hey, we have an extra computer. Take one from the company. I need one for my brother, or hey, I need you to get me something like this.
So she's basically asking you to steal now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And of course I do it.
Okay.
I did it.
Well, you're invested in this relationship.
Right. She pretty much at this point owns me.
In the interrogation, Mark has carefully built a story where he portrays himself as the one who's been wronged in the relationship. Despite the detectives having doubts about the truth of Mark's version of events, they find it necessary to show understanding and empathy during the interview. This approach seems crucial as it's their best chance to get Mark to open up and possibly confess.
Let's get to last Saturday, the 22nd.
Okay. As soon as I open the door, it's like a battle zone. And the first thing she says is, "He gets into the sugar and dumps it everywhere. You left it somewhere, blah, blah, blah." And just goes on and on. I said something about, "You take too many pills, you can't watch Caden or something." I said, and she's like, "Well, what are you sorry?" She's like, and she just walked up and she's like, "By the way, you better clean it up right." And at that time, she walked up to me and just hit me like that.
Now, are you standing? What are you doing?
This. There's a desk right here. I'm on like this, picking up stuff.
Are you in the living room?
I'm in the living room. There's those two spots on that carpet.
Yeah, with the computer desk.
By the computer desk. There's a hallway, and right there by the leg, I'm over there reaching, picking up stuff, and by that time I turn, I see her come up, and then when she comes up close to me and I see her arm swing, I put my head like that, she hits me like that.
Up underneath you?
Yeah, like that. It wasn't hard or anything. I'm used to it at this point.
Sure.
As she walks out, slams the door to her room. And about 10, 15 minutes later, I open the door to say, well, you know what? And she's gone. Well,
Where's Caden when all this?
He's in his room hiding.
So you think that Michelle's been screaming at him, and that's why he goes in and reacts the way he does?
Because at one time I got her.
Did she curse at him?
Yes. She sat there and got in his face one time, and she's on here like this. I'll get on my knees.
Go ahead.
And he's sitting there and shaking his little hand. And she's sitting there grabbing him, and don't you ever, you're going to turn out to be a sorry piece of crap like your daddy, you sorry mother, little. And at that point, I came over to her and pushed her like that. She didn't. She caught herself, and I said, get up. Don't do that.
With trust built, the detective has made Mark feel at ease. Now the detective shifts to discussing harm to Michelle but frames it as Mark protecting his son. This approach aims to make it simpler for Mark to confess, as he may see his actions as driven by a desire to do what's best for his child, rather than malicious intent.
My heart goes out to you, man, because what you have put up with for 3 years of your little boy's life, I very much appreciate and understand your feelings about your son.
Right.
I have a son. He's 27 years old now. So I get it. This is about Caden.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever did happen in the apartment between you and Michelle, that's resulted in her now disappearing. We'll use that word for lack of a better term.
Right.
It's my impression that what that was about, what that argument was about, what that confrontation was about last weekend, it wasn't about you wanting to hurt Michelle. It was about your love for Kate. And it was about your burden.
Right, yeah.
About protecting Katie.
Right, because he wasn't being taken care of.
Exactly.
The detective deftly employs a psychological approach known as the good choice, bad choice method. This technique offers Mark only two options, compelling him to make a decision. On one side, there's the good choice, emphasizing his deep love for his son Caden. On the flip side, there's the bad choice, implying harmful intentions towards Michelle. Mark is naturally inclined to lean towards the narrative that portrays him in a more innocent light. This method capitalizes on Mark's instinct to preserve his innocence, increasing the likelihood of him aligning with the desired narrative.
Whatever happened between you and Michelle in the course of her cursing at you, slapping you in the face, hitting you while you're on your knees on the ground, picking up stuff that she has directed you to do, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And now Mark is in protective mode for Caden. This is not happening anymore. Michelle is not going to harm my son anymore, either emotionally or physically or verbally or in any way, shape, or form, and I am going to have to resolve the problem now. This is the opportunity to talk about all those things, because you've told me. You've already told me. You've laid the groundwork for what happened in that apartment, and I'm on board with you. This isn't about trying to make Mark look like a bad guy. I'm telling you, I could not. I'm listening to your story, man, and I almost want to cry for you. I just can't imagine the stress and the pressure put on you because of the love you have for Caden when you watch this woman continually berate him and treat him so terribly because she's doing the same thing to you that she's doing to a 3-year, and you're an adult.
Mark finds himself in a tight spot, facing two clear options. Either confess or cease communication and request legal representation.
No, we both know Michelle did not walk out of that apartment. She did not walk out of that apartment. We both know it. We both know the circumstances under which whatever did happen, happened. not wanting you to explain to me that you wanted to hurt Michelle. I want you to explain to me what you felt like you had to do to protect Kate. So I want you to be honest with me and tell me what happened.
She got up, and I got up, and she's getting dressed, and she's finishing up, and she's still yelling, and Caden's hiding. I grabbed her and I broke her neck. She told me I was a sorry and that she was going to control me the rest of my life. And I grabbed her by her neck and and just threw her on the bed. And,
So she's facing you?
yeah, and I heard it pop, and then her tongue popped out, and that was it.
Okay.
I mean, I sit there and held it, and the time I realized what I did, she was dead. So, dude,
Look at me, Murph. Look at me.
I'm sorry. Give me the death penalty, that's fine.
Look,
I deserve it.
Mark. Look, I'm proud of you.
Life is over with anyway.
Your life's not over with, Mark. Mark, kind of show me in the room where she was.
Like, here's the bed. Here's a closet. And here's that door going to outside.
Okay.
I walked in, and that's when I grabbed her, and then I threw her on the bed right there.
I know this is painful, but I wanted you to demonstrate for Brian what happened.
I push her, and then grab her, and then
Okay.
fall down on the floor.
I know you're not going to do it because I got my brother Phil here to help me out. All right.
And then I sit there.
And then what did she do?
Well, when she fell down, I heard that, and then her tongue stuck out, and I just was.
Police obtained surveillance footage from the apartment complex exterior, revealing Mark's activities in the early hours of September 24th. At 3:21 a.m., Mark was observed dragging a large container to Michelle's car, making multiple trips until 5:41 a.m. and eventually departing at 6 a.m. Subsequent searches around Mark's parents' home uncovered various items in a dumpster, including a Pampers box, Mark's business cards, sunglasses, a cut-up credit card belonging to Michelle. During Mark's sentencing, his attorney argued for a case of sudden passion, a factor considered during the punishment phase in Texas trials. Sudden passion, if proven, can reduce the maximum punishment for murder from life imprisonment to 20 years, with a potential minimum sentence of 2 years. The jury, however, did not accept Mark's case as one of sudden passion. Consequently, he received a 27-year sentence, becoming eligible for parole in 2026.